All right, buckle in. This one's a doozy. Hello, hello. Welcome back to our channel. I am Kelly Lynn Colby, editorial director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. I am also a freelance editor, a writer, and most importantly, a reader. Today, we are doing the end of September book haul, the next stop on our Did I Read These journey that we will revisit next year. So, end of September. Apparently, I was procrastinating something. I can't imagine what it was. Could have been anything, like writing, maybe. So let's see. I started at the library, and I know I went there because I had a library book that I had to return. And, oh, the store was open. This happens a lot. So the store was open. I'm like, let's go in and see what they have. Turns out they had a lot. They gave me a box to bring the stuff home with. So let's explore what we have. So we're going to start with The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon? Your guess is as good as mine. This is another Pulitzer Prize winner. So I'm racking these babies up, but I haven't read one yet. So definitely need to get on that. Very excited about this. This is like a comic book duo, Kavalier and Clay, who start a comic book company. It is fictional, but it looks extremely interesting. So I had to pick this one up. Ruth Ware, the IT girl, I'm assuming, even though I keep saying IT girl because, you know, that's what Kevin does for a living. So IT is the first thing that comes to my mind when I see those two letters together. But I'm assuming it's the IT girl. And this is another one, like I said, One Perfect Couple wasn't my favorite, but Ruth Ware is hugely popular. So I have a feeling I am going to like her work. So we're going to give it a try. Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book I'd never heard of, The Darkest Star. But she is hugely popular with her Romantasy series. So I thought, well, let me try. It was at the store. Helps the library. Let's give it a try. I don't even know what this is about, by the way. The author's name sold it for me. Not even sure I like that cover. Still curious. Next one is The Spectacular by Fiona Davis. And this one takes place in New York, I think in the 40s. I want to say it's the 40s. The 40s? Totally wrong. 1956. And so this is historical fiction that looks really fun. I'm pretty sure it is Showgirls, a thrilling story about love, a sacrifice, and the pursuit of dreams, set amid the glamour and glitz of Radio City Music Hall in its mid-century heyday. Sounds fun to me. You know, I love my historical fictions. And plus, that cover is so attractive to me. I love that cover. It called to me. It said, "You must read me." A Single Thread by Tracy Chevalier. This is a World War II historical fiction. That's about all I know. Oh, this is right after World War I. I lied. That might be why I bought it, because they have a lot of World War II, so and not nearly as much World War I. Yep, very interesting. So we will dive into this one. Anne Pratchett, The Dutch House. So signed first edition, apparently. But I'm curious, this is lit fic. So I will say that the library has a lot more, lit fic, historical fiction, that kind of stuff. It's a lot harder to find sci-fi and fantasy. So usually that's what I stack up when I go there. And this is at the end of World War II. See, there's always so much World War II. But this is lit fic. I was not a huge fan because the ending was not satisfying at all to me of Bel Canto by Anne Pratchett, but that's all I've read by her. And again, I give an author more than one. You can have one book that maybe just isn't my taste, but still be an amazing author. So, amazing author, whether I like you or not. But what I mean is that it might be something that I am still attracted to in other stories. So I am willing to try it. When they're highly liked like that, usually there's something. Just this book might appeal to me while this one doesn't. So I'm still willing to try it, especially when they're like buy one get one free and they're only $2 to start with. It makes the barrier to try them a lot lower. This one is Miss Eliza's English Kitchen. It's a novel of Victorian cookery and friendship by Annabelle Abbs. Never heard of any of this, but that sounds so fascinating to me. I love to cook. It's so much fun. And so I love watching stories about Victorian England and how they cooked and what was normal for them and how their houses were always killing them, but that's another story. So this just seems really fascinating for me and right up my alley. This is a YA. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. I've heard mixed reviews on this, so I have no idea if I'm going to love it or not, but I'm willing to give it a try. I like having variety in what I'm reading, so I will take some YA as well. Found The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. This was like on everybody's TBR earlier in 2024. And I found this at the library. It is a story of a missing Indigenous girl. And that's about all I know. So we shall see what happens with that one. This one was recommended by the library volunteer. This is Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. I just saw, I think Meg with the Books read this. And she said the beginning of it is one story, like one fictional story, and then you get an actual detective story at the end. Like the font is even different. So it sounds very fascinating. I have no idea if it's going to be for me or not, but you know, librarian recommends a book for you. I mean, what do you have to lose by trying it? The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. So I'm interested in this one. This one won the National Book Award, and it was on a whole bunch of best of lists from last year. So I am looking forward to seeing if this one hits. This one also, I believe, is historical fiction. 1972, when workers in Pottsmouth, Pennsylvania were digging the foundations for a new housing development, the last thing they expected to uncover was a human skeleton. I mean, I'm in. That was easy. The Tortilla Curtain by T. Roagessen Boyle. Cora Gesson Boyle. Actually, this cover was just so pretty. I was like, why not? I need another free one. I'll take it. I have no idea what it's about at all. Timeless, yet passionately of our time, The Tortilla Curtain is the rich and deeply moving story of the good and not so good, the haves and have-nots. Men and women with brown faces and strong backs who risk everything to cross the Mexican border and invade the American dream are the Okies of the 1990s. Two of them, Candido and America Rincon, have come to Southern California and are living in a makeshift camp deep in a ravine fighting for starvation. They're not fighting for starvation. Fighting off starvation. They also had a brand new book. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This was like nominated for a Goodreads award, and I was like, I want that right now. And it was only $6, brand new. So I shall take this one. I've heard great things about it, and I am looking forward to it. I wouldn't say I'm in my thriller phase. I'm still reading mostly fantasy and historical fiction, but I'm finding I like thrillers now when I didn't like them before. So I have high hopes. Also, sorry about the lighting. It's night now. This is when I had time to film. So it is what it is. All right. And the last one I got at the library was The Ladies of the Secret Circus by Constance Sayers. This takes place in Paris around 1925 and 2004. So it's one of those dual timeline books, which seem so popular in historical fiction. I have a bunch of them. I could probably do entire vlogs about just dual timeline historical fictions. So I look forward to this one. I mean, it's Ladies of the Secret Circus in Paris with this cover. That's all I needed to know. I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and I'm not judging the quality, but I definitely judge my interest by its cover. So it is what it is. Fair or not, it's definitely the way our brain works. We're very visual creatures, humans. Now, there were a couple other YA books, mixed media, and I was like, oh, it's book 2 and 3. And, I need book 1. And I don't want to, buy 2 and 3 at the discount and buy book 1 full price and then what if I don't even like it? Now I have all of these books. And so I'm like, we'll leave. And there's somebody else who's read book 1 and wants the other 2. So we'll leave that. And then we went to a party at my in-laws' house. And I'm like, I haven't been to their Goodwill. Let's stop at their Goodwill. And they're in a nice side of town. I was like, surely they're going to have lots of really great books. Yeah, it turns out they didn't. There was no books there. And I don't know if that's just because they're not reading right there or because they're just not donating them to Goodwill. I'm going to say it's probably they're just not donating to Goodwill. But what they did have was a book 1. I'm like, what? Okay, has to be meant to be. I must go and buy the other 2. So I got this one, Illuminae. Book 1, it's by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This one is a whole mystery. It's got mixed media stuff in it. all kinds of folders and scripts and interviews and all kinds of really cool things going on, clues. It's thick, but you've seen what the stuff's inside, right? So, I mean, look, just Aiden. I don't know what that means, but it must be something important. So sorry if that was a spoiler. So I went back to the library and I'm like, oh, please have 2 and 3. Please have 2 and 3. Because it was like 2 days later, right? So closed on Sunday. This was Saturday. Closed on Sunday. So I went back Monday. And they did. They still had them. So I now have the entire series, books 2 and 3. So this should be fun. One day I'll probably just sit down and just read them all when I'm probably supposed to be doing something else because that's my MO. All right. Then there is a discount place called Ollie's that they have like a lot of closeout things. And a friend of mine said, hey, they've got books there too. I'm like, do they? Well, I'm on that side of town. Let me go check. So I went in and checked and I wasn't hugely impressed by the selection. It's discount, right? It's just like anything else. Sometimes you're going to find something you really like and sometimes you're not. What I did find though was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. And I have been wanting to read this one for quite a while, even though this is the spoiler. They do both die at the end. That's what everyone tells me. So it's something about a place, this world, they know when you're going to die and they tell you. So if you know you're going to die that day, you kind of meet the other people who are going to die that day. And these two fall in love. So feels very bittersweet. So I think if I need a really good cry, I'll pick this one up. Now, after all of that shopping, apparently that week I just not had enough. And I decided to hit some of the Goodwills that were on the same side of town as Ollie's, because this was a side of town I don't go to very often. And I'm like, well, while I'm up here, let me check out these Goodwills. And there's another like thrift store, like it's just called Thrift Store. So I have no idea what the brand is. And let's go see what they have. And they had Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. I was so excited because this is the oldest book on my Goodreads TBR. It's been on there since 2016. And I'm like, it was like 99 cents. I'm like, I'll take it. This book is from like early 2000s? 2003. And they had it. I'm like, oh, I'll take it. So I finally found book 1 in this, so I can finally cross off the oldest book I have had on my list. I was very excited about that. I mean, I could have gotten it other ways, but there's something about finding that physical book that makes it more present in my brain to read. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but it definitely works like that for me. I think it's part of the reason why I've loved shopping at these Goodwills, to have more options. Next, I found In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. So this one is, I think it's Dominican Republic. So it's in the Dominican Republic during a rebellion. I'm trying to read a book from every country. Obviously, it's not going to happen in 1 year. But I have like 18 or so done. 13, 18. I can't remember how many 5s I have crossed off on that sheet. Done so far for this year. So it'll take me a few years, but now I have one from the Dominican Republic I look forward to. This is I don't know if I could consider it is historical fiction because it was written in the 90s, I think it said. And the book takes place in 1960. Let me see, copyright. Yeah, 1994. So it is historical fiction because it takes place in 1960s. So that's fun. I love to learn my history through historical fiction. I also found The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I've heard mixed reviews on this. I have no idea. It is supposed to be a dark romantic fantasy. So apparently the male interest in this is not a nice guy. He is, a dark prince. So we will see how I feel about it. Again, for the price, it was hard not to say no. And I'll try it and see if I like it or not. Picked up Wild by Cheryl Strayed. So I did see the movie. I've not read the book. I always get a different impression from the book, so I look forward to tackling this one. Earlier this year, I read Frederick Bachman, Beartown. Loved it. It took a minute to get into it, but once I was into it, loved it. And so I happened to find book 2, Us Against You. So I'm like, I'll take it. I definitely want to read it. So if I can get it at a discount, I'll take it. Then we had, I'm start holding them up on this side. Oh, these are a lot of books. Next, All the Light We Cannot See. This one by Anthony Dory. It is historical fiction again. Apparently historical fiction is read a lot around here. In a mining town in Germany, Werner, an orphan, grows up with his younger sister. Enchanted by a crude radio they find that brings them news and stories from places they had never seen or imagined. Interesting. All right. So we shall see. And I'm pretty sure this one, yeah, it says right on it that it was made into a Netflix series. So it would be fun to read the book and then watch the series and decide how they compare. I've heard a ton of things about Ruta Sepetys. Not read anything by her yet. So the first one I happened to see was Salt to the Sea. I'm like, well, hand it over. Again, historical fiction. 1945. A lot of World War II. We'll see. We'll see how fast I get sick of World War II. Because guess what this one is? World War II. This is We Must Be Brave. This takes place in London during World War II, during the Blitzkrieg. So this woman who stayed in the city, I don't know, like a lot of the children in London were sent to the country when London was being bombed. But, you know, some children, they didn't have the means. Some were left behind. All things happen. Well, this woman who had to stay in London for her job, which I don't remember what it was, she finds this child abandoned at a train station. And so takes the child home. And then that's what happens during the war. And then what happens after when they try to find out who this child belongs to. That looks fun to me. So even though it is World War II, which there's a lot of it, it's a little different. It's not just like on the battlefield kind of thing. Now this one, being a science major, I've been wanting to read this one for a really long time too. It's The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, because we've used HeLa cells. We use them for experiments all the time. I mean, between HeLa and CRISPR, there's all kinds of advancements happening in science because of these cells. And it turns out these cells actually belonged to her, Henrietta Lacks. I did not know that. Most people did not know that. So I'm really glad this book came out so we could actually go into it. Apparently they were her cells, and she did not give permission, and her family didn't get paid for them. So I'm very interested to read this full story and see what all the details were. Now this is a series I've heard a ton about, and I love Criminal Minds. Huge fan of Criminal Minds. It's The Naturals by Jennifer L. Barnes. This is supposed to be Criminal Minds, but a YA version where these children are psychic. And so they use their abilities to help the BAU solve crimes and catch serial killers. And so it's a whole series. I'm pretty sure it's complete, but don't quote me on that. And they're nice and short. They're YA little mysteries. And lately, the YA mystery thrillers I've read have actually been better than the adult ones. So we'll see if this one holds up with that trend. And more nonfiction. I do like nonfiction when it is science-based. This makes me happy. And this is When Elephants Weep, The Emotional Lives of Animals by Jeffrey Moussaieff-Masson and Susan McCarthy. So this looks really cool. Look at the cute little pictures. Oh, cute. So I never understand the debate, do animals have emotions? I'm like, have you spent any time with them at all? Have you watched them at all? Of course they have emotions. That's just a silly thing. But how they have emotions and how they actually communicate them with each other, the similarities between us and the differences between us, that fascinates me. I don't think we're as unique as some people think we are. Tana French, Broken Harbor. So this is in the series I talked about at the last book haul, In the Woods. So I bought this one. I just know I'm going to love In the Woods. I don't know why I bought it. I couldn't help myself. That's why. And then I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. A friend of mine says the movie is trash. The book is amazing. So I'm going to take her word for it and give it a try. Because the movie was, it was okay. And more historical fiction, because I apparently can't get enough. The Bonesetter's Daughter by Amy Tan. So I've read other books by Amy Tan. I have no doubt this will be just as entertaining. Dense, though. Like, it doesn't look that big, but Amy Tan's writing is dense. She uses them big words. That's all I have to say. As I say dense, and I pick up this book that might hurt someone. This is Freedom by Jonathan Franzen. I've not read this. I've not read anything by Jonathan Franzen, but it is a lit fic book. So we shall see. I don't remember what it's about. I think it's mainly about a guy trying to figure out how tough it is to be a guy. Pioneers of Old St. Paul, the gentrifiers, the hands-on parents, the avant-garde of the Whole Foods generation. Patty was the ideal sort of neighbor who could tell you where to recycle your batteries and how to get the local cops to actually do their job. Oh, she's a Karen. She's original Karen. I got it. Okay. Together with Walter, environmental lawyer, commuter, cyclist, total family man, she was doing her small part to build a better world. But now in the new millennium, the Berglunds have become a mystery. Huh. Okay, lots of crazy stuff happens. I don't know, so we'll see what happens. I'll give it a try, and if I don't have the patience for it, I won't finish reading it. Hopefully I'm judging this horribly harshly for no good reason and I will love it. That's what I'm hoping for. I never pick up a book hoping I'm not going to like it. Why would I do that? So I'm hoping I'm going to love it. And definitely a slice of life I don't have any experience with. So it would be fun experiencing something new. Excellent. All right, that is it. That was a lot. See, I wasn't kidding. That was a lot. So how many we got here? We have one. Well, that was 33. Not even my most. I think my most was 36. I think they're more hardbacks that are thicker in this bunch. So, but it's like a treasure. It makes me happy. You know what? I'm going to go read now. So I'm going to go read and I will catch you at the next one. Look, see the stickers? The stickers. I should just leave the stickers on because now I got cat hair on that one. Cat hair.